right, everybody, we're going to do a mentor session with Todd Ferguson real quick. I had to cancel or postpone the one that I'd scheduled a week or so ago, so I'm going to knock it out right now and hopefully answer some of these questions and help you guys out inside of AO. One thing I do want to mention before I get started is I was running, I think yesterday, and just kind of going through books and different things that I have read, and the book, if you guys haven't read it, the book called Shoe Dog, it's by Phil Knight. It's the creator of Nike. I remember when I read that the first time, or listened to it, that it gave me tons of confidence. It talked about how he went bankrupt almost, I don't know, 3 or 4 times, all the struggles that he came across. So if you guys are looking for a good book, I would recommend Shoe Dog by Phil Knight as you start the year off. So here we go. Questions that were submitted through the AO portal. The first one is from Kimberly. Kimberly asks, when you're about to launch a product that requires a box, what are some suggestions and requirements on the box designs that help maximize marketing? So business description and background of question says, I'm a hairstylist. I'm getting ready to launch a product, and I want to make sure as I ship my boxes out, I do not miss any marketing opportunities. So for me, as far as the marketing, that's not necessarily my strong point. I mean, clearly you want something that is attractive, that grabs people's attention, your website on there, stuff like that. The things that I look for, though, if you're talking about boxes, if you're launching a new product, is the quality of the packaging. You think about when you open up like an iPad or AirPods or anything like that, or even when you get a subscription box, there's a certain kind of like luster, I guess, when you get the thing, and the first time that they open something, it's very hard to get that initial reaction, I guess. It's hard to get that back. So I would make sure that the packaging is good. The stuff that I look for is, if you're shipping this stuff out, though, from logistics, is the size of the box. Dimensional weight is huge. So if you can get something under a pound, if you can get it so where the dimensional weight does not kill you as far as shipping, that is the stuff I look for. If you're going to start getting stuff shipped to you on pallets, or you're ordering in bulk, companies spend a tremendous amount of time and resources making sure that they can maximize pallet spaces, or the amount of product they can fit on pallets. They design products based on that. So just stuff to think about. Look at your box sizing, look at dimensional weight, look at how you're shipping these out. If you're going to ship them to the post office, if you're going to ship them through FedEx or UPS, that's the kind of stuff that I look for. So, but as far as marketing, Eric would be somebody you could talk to. There's some other marketing people as well, but hopefully that helps out, Kimberly. All right, next question comes from Stella. Stella says, what should I do if a hired person is not being responsive? So the business description and background of question says, I hired a person to do email marketing for me. I'm unhappy with his responsiveness, and after I have clearly said that, still nothing has changed. I haven't found a replacement for him, so what should I do? Well, I think you kind of already answered your question. You need to find a replacement for this person. I don't know if this person is a contractor, if they're an actual employee of your business. I'm guessing that they are working remote. And so the first things to think about is, as you start to look to replace this person, when you're doing the interview process, when you're talking about the expectations of your business, you need to be very firm with those, and you need to lay those out during the interview and let them know this is how our business works, this is how our company works, this is how we communicate, this is how you report back to me daily with what you've got going on. If they're not responsive, you got to let them go. Like especially if you've had a conversation with them and you've let them know, I'm not pleased with the way things are going, and you haven't seen improvement, the worst thing, in my opinion, that you can do is to keep them. And so you've got to find somebody else to do that. But again, it goes back to the way you lay down the expectations. If you have core values and a mission statement, talking about that during the interview, and then relaying all, when you let somebody go, going back to your core values or your mission statement and say, hey, part of one of our core values is our mission, one of our core values is to create wildly successful customers. And so I can go back to my team if I have to let somebody go or have a coaching conversation and really point and say, these actions do not help us create wildly successful customers. So hopefully that helps. So the next question comes from Stella again. It says, how do I inform customers about a price increase, and do I even have to do it? So the business description and background of the question says, I own an activewear brand for women, and I'm considering a slight increase of the prices of the products we sell, mostly leggings. Sean mentioned somewhere that a slight increase of 8% yearly is standard and usually accepted well by customers. I'm trying to figure out how to communicate this with my existing customers and followers on social networks. Some customers might complain. How do I handle this? So there's two different buckets of customers, in my opinion, on this. You have your current customers, and then you have people that are not even your customers yet. So I guess they're not even customers, but two buckets of people. So you have potential customers, and then you have people that are already, hopefully you're creating brand loyalty with them. And so Sean is right, though. Most people expect and accept roughly an 8 to 10% increase every year on products, services. I mean, you even think about like what inflation is doing right now with gas, the prices of cars, rent, all that kind of stuff. And if you've seen prices, even in stores that you shop at regularly, you're seeing price increases. So customers expect that. For us, I like to inform our customers, our current customers, when we are increasing prices. In fact, we're going through this process right now. We're revamping some of our stuff, and so I try to give them at minimum a 30-day notice. Usually a 45 to 60 day is ideal. So we're doing a little short this as far as time frame. This time we got an email going out tomorrow, letting people know that March 1st, certain prices are going up. And so sometimes you lose customers, but if you provide a good value, if you provide great service, if you provide high quality product, if you provide all of that kind of stuff, then generally an 8 to 10% increase, people are still willing to pay for that as long as they feel they're getting the value for that service. And so for us, we're raising our prices minimally. One of them is like 6.5 or 7%, and it doesn't affect each individual customer as much. But in the grand scheme of things, it actually brings in close to an extra $200 to $2,500 a month for one of our businesses. And so in the grand scheme of things, that allows us to hire another person, allows us to buy machinery. And so it has to be done. But I would just send an email out. You can post it on social media if you want. But if you've got their email, I would just say, hey, effective April 1st, we are here's our new pricing structure or whatever. This also gives you an opportunity to hopefully create a little bit of like a mini sense of urgency or a sale, to where if you can tell people, hey, prices are going up, take this opportunity to purchase the stuff that you want, the leggings, your favorite leggings, at a discounted rate before the prices go up. And so you might even be able to see a little bit of a spike or a bump in sales during this time. But the first time you do it, it's super scary. So if you've never raised your prices on current customers, it is a little scary. Hitting that send button, like freaking out, kind of worrying if people are going to come back and use you, if you're going to lose all your customers or whatever it is. But I promise you, the more often you do it, it's just kind of second nature. And it's not something that you do all the time, but you do need to evaluate your numbers at the end of the year, actually every quarter, every month, and look for those opportunities to say, hey, if I increase this by this much, would it affect each individual customer? Probably not, but in the grand scheme of things, it allows us to do other things inside of our business. So there you go, Stella. And feel free to reach out to me on any of that if that didn't make sense. All right, next question comes from Rohit. Rohit asks, are core values and value statement interrelated? What is the difference? So the business description and background question says, I have a set of core values for my company, and I am about to write a value statement. I'm not sure if I explain why I'm using such core values for the type of culture I want, or if it is targeted at a specific audience. So first of all, it's great that you have core values, that you're doing your mission statement or your value statement. You basically, yes, your core values are what should be in your value statement. So your value statement technically is the core principles that guide and kind of direct your organization. So why that happens. And then your mission statement is more of like why your reason for existence. So by you doing a value statement, you're going to use your core values inside of that. It's going to point to your whole reason or the reasons why you do certain things inside of your business. So, but if you don't have a mission statement, you definitely need that as well. But yeah, you're right on you're on the right track there. All right, last question comes from Alex. Alex asked, excuse me, do you recommend laying off seasonal employees or paying them during the slow times? So business description and background of question says we're a seasonal landscape business that suffers during the winter time because I've never really put together a winter business. We have one employee right now and trying to get work for him, but he's inconsistent on how much he wants to work, and I wasn't sure, and I want to be sure that he'll be there in the spring when I need him for the season. Thanks. So there's a ton of different layers to this question, or to the description, I guess. I don't have a seasonal business. I mean, our business is a little seasonal, but we have work all the time. So I'm just speaking from my perspective and my point of view, Alex. This doesn't necessarily mean that's right for you. But the way I look at it is I only pay people when they're actually performing work or income producing activities for our business. So there's times where they're doing things as far as cleaning or reorganizing, and it's not necessarily bringing in income at that time. But it's very tough to, in my opinion, to be able to pay somebody when there's no work or there's no income coming in. And you even say that it's inconsistent with how much he wants to work. And so, one of your challenges is since you're a spring business, one thing I know I've spoke to you about several times is, like learning your weather. So I know in most places anyway, even in the winter, I mean, for us in southern Missouri, we're more Midwest than, you're a little more north, but the winter hasn't been as bad here. And there's been multiple days that a person that owned a landscaping business or an outdoor business could have actually worked. And so I think for you to learn how to master that, create a plan every week, know what days you could potentially work, and then pay them when they come to work. But I don't know how long your off season is, but for a growing business like yours to be able to pay somebody when there's no income coming in, you've got to be really a master of keeping back as much money as you can during the summer and spring, so that way you have money in your coffer so you can pay for that. I know you're doing things to try to find work during the winter, but really looking at what you can do as far as bringing in income. But I really would suggest that you find, like Sunday, like today, I would look at the weather and I would get with my team and say, hey, here are potential days that we're going to work this week. The weather is supposed to be 48 degrees on Wednesday. That is warm enough for us to work outside. And I don't know what all you can do during the winter necessarily with landscaping, but I'm sure there's power washing. I'm sure there's different things that you could do that would bring in income, and then you can pay your people. One thing you could think about doing is, and you can do this with people that have worked for you maybe once they get past a year or 2 or 3 and they're consistent, they're solid employees, is you could potentially pay a person more during your peak. Bring in a financial planner, somebody around budgeting, somebody that helps people with their money, and actually give that as a service to your people, but show them how to save that money when you can let them know, hey, you're getting paid actually a little bit more now because I realize during the winter we're not able to pay you, but I want to make sure that you're set up so when winter comes you have extra money, you have extra cash, you've budgeted, you know what to expect, and then if we work extra, it's just a bonus. So those are just some suggestions. So other than that, guys, that's all the questions we have today. Just remember, go to the portal, log in there through your app, online or whatever, and make sure you guys are asking questions as far as stuff that challenges that you have with your business as you're growing in that that first 100,000 stage, or when you get to 500,000, or when you get close to 1 million, whether it's with people or processes, because the questions you ask are not just going to help you, but they're going to help other people. So guys, have a great afternoon. Thanks for watching, and we will talk to everybody soon.